Hello everyone, this is Bopa But I Love You, and hopefully this is going to be the first of many casts that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to take my hand at casting here and see what I can do. And today, luckily, we have Team Goose versus Team EG. Looks like EG is going to be heading towards the red, and while they're doing that, I want to explain the bans. We had Goose ban Rammus first, and then we had EG ban Kennen, then Goose with the Moo, EG with Severe, Goose with Soraka, and EG with Shyvana. Um, Goose definitely knows that Nat has a very strong Soraka, so obviously they wanted to ban that and take that kind of away. Even though they still have a pretty strong bot lane with Tristana Sona, and it looks like they're going to try to prevent Gangplank from getting red here. And they have offensively warded to try to hold off that bush to see what they can do. And it looks like Team Goose is going to be trying to maybe catch them or try to put up some resistance here at red. And it looks like EG is actually going to follow back, but I believe, yeah, they do go back in to try to fake him out by showing Malphite middle that he's going top, when actually they're going to try to sit here. And it looks like they're about to move up, and they have a pretty good level 1 team fight. They have a fling, they have a stun, they have a slow, and they have a ridiculous amount of damage. And as you see here, Mandatory Cloud did detect them in there with his Q and saw them run. So it looks like it's just going to be pretty normal level 1, no one fighting, people just getting back to their lanes. And it actually looks like Dyrus might get caught here, but no, it looks like he's going to get away, and he's just going to run to top instead of being able to back. So it looks like a pretty normal start for Gangplank. It looks like he's going to try to do his race and maybe try to get his red for an early gank. Let's see, on EG, we had Dan Din, who's jungling, going to get his rolls, which is really common now since a lot of people take rolls first to save some time. And he's also going to pick up blue here to try to just do it. Looks like a full jungle clear. Oh, this chat is in the way. Let me get that out of here real quick. And it looks like GP did get red, so it looks like he's going to try to go for an early gank, some early pressure. And because of EG's ward right here, they're going to know that he went for that red. It looks like bot is going to be kind of aggressive. Well, bot's going to be quite an interesting match to find. Middle is going to be kind of interesting as well. With Vlad and his recent buffs, he's going to be quite powerful in lane, especially when he picks up his lifesteal. And top is going to be, it looks like mostly just a farm fest unless there's jungles coming to gank quite often. Because Nunu really can't kill Singe, and Singe could kill Nunu, technically, if he was running Ignite, but unfortunately he is not. And let's look at bottom here. It looks like GP is still trying to set up for a gank here, and Team Goose trying to bait him in, but, you know, being EG and knowing that GP got his red, they're going to sit back. So let's see, we got Malphite, who's going to be doing double golems and then most likely red after. He's doing pretty well on health. He's clearing jungle really easily. He's got a regrowth pendant, probably going to go for an early Philo. Maybe try to get some ganks. I would assume that he would try to farm as quick as he can to level 6, because that's when Malphite really becomes super strong with ganking, is his ult knockup. It looks like some aggression here at bottom. Sona, who's really good support for being aggressive, can just, you know, spam all of her abilities, and once she gets that Philo Stone, she can stay in lane pretty much forever, and just dishes out some ridiculous damage with her passive. And of course you see Westrice here doing his little combo, moving into them, and then using Buckshot on them to try to get a ridiculous amount of damage in. And now it's playing smart here. He actually warded that first bush, so Westrice can get that CS without having to worry about being chipped at all. And it looks like Cass is being really aggressive. Mandatory is playing a really aggressive because he knows Malphite isn't the fastest clear with jungle, and he knows he's pretty safe for a while. And even if, you know, Malphite does come in for a gank, he can easily get away since he's running, I believe, yeah, he's running boots. And it looks like Malphite's actually gonna swing top. It looks like, try to get Nunu, see if he can get an early kill here. In terms of CS, it looks like bottom is pretty even. They're both, you know, 1-2 CS away from each other. And let's just take a look at this action top. So it looks like Singe flings Nunu out. Malphite does land that slow on him, and they're trying to do some damage. Nunu does get his flash out, though, which is really good for top lane, knowing that Nunu doesn't have flash, so Singe can be really aggressive. That was a really good gank, actually, by Dan Din. It blew a summoner, and definitely gave Dyrus an advantage at top. It looks like Vlad is actually out of health pots. He's been getting quite harassed in middle, but unfortunately Cass isn't running any mana regen items on Doran's Ring to kind of stay in lane. for quite a while, and Dyrus being just super aggressive top, knowing Nunu has no flash. It looks like GPs are coming for a gank here at bottom. Lena does get stunned, but Sona does keep him up with her heals. And GP, knowing that he probably can't get that gank, is just gonna back away, go by, maybe get his wow, what is the word? Get his Razor. Sorry, get his Razor for jungling. What about middle? It looks like CS is actually quite low in middle. They've been trying to play the harass game with each other. Cassiopeia with 25, as you see here, and Vlad with 18. As you know, Vlad doesn't become really strong until about level 9 when he can spam his transfusion. And once he gets his Hex Tech, he can just stay in lane his Revolver with the amount of lifesteal he gets with his just natural ability on Q and the 15% from his Revolver. And surprisingly, Nunu is actually keeping up top. He's got 33 CS. GP is coming up here top. Dyrus does not have a ward. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of action here. He only has Ghost to get away, but GP doesn't have a red anymore. He does pop his Ghost, and Nunu's going to keep that perma slow because he's so strong, and Smithy going for the flash for that first blood to GP, which is huge. It denies a lot of XP for Dyrus, but luckily he does have teleport to get back top. And he will, of course, buy a ward now to protect himself. And it looks like GP is going to try to swing middle or try to steal a little bit of enemy jungle here. I'm actually quite surprised at what Nat and Westchester are doing. They're kind of scared of Tristana's damage because once she gets her, healing reduce effect on you, your Tarek's heal is just so ineffective on her, or on Graves. So he has to pay a little passive. But I actually want to look at runes. It looks like Graves is actually running some armor runes. He's got quite a bit of... Actually, no, sorry. He's not running armor runes. It's Tarek's armor buff that is giving him that ridiculous amount of armor, which should protect him quite a bit in lane. But it looks like he is running, of course, the static, or the flat MR runes. And it looks like they're going to be a little aggressive here. Try to poke Sona out of lane. And it looks like Tarek is actually out of wards, and Sona does have, I believe, 1 ward left. So kind of Team Goose here has some staying power in lane. They don't need to back anytime soon to get some wards to protect themselves. And Team EG, I actually can't click that ward, didn't know that. Looks like GP here, though, is stealing the enemy team's blue, which is so important if Vlad doesn't get that blue for cooldown reduction or Malphite doesn't get it for jungling quicker. It is such a nice thing, and he does give it to Cass, which gives her that huge advantage in lane. It is going to make her a force to be reckoned with against Vlad. He can't compete with a Cass that has blue, because she can just spam all day against him. And Nunu is still just farming top. He's still holding his own. I'm quite surprised. I wouldn't think he'd be that strong. And there's not a lot of action in this game. I'm kind of surprised, but I guess we can talk about summoners. Graves is using Cleanse, which is becoming very popular, as well as AD carries using Heal. Actually, here, look at middle quick. There's a 3-man gank coming. Malphite is not 6, so he cannot hold onto her, but Singe can get that fling out, and they do, and she does get the flash, but it looks like Vlad's ult gonna go off, and it looks like Singe will get away, even though he was ignited. And that was really good. That was really good for that team, or for EG there. They picked up their blue buff back. They denied Cass a lot of levels in CS, and it looks like they're gonna may go for a dragon here. Early dragon, knowing that it's not warded, which is really smart of EG. It takes advantage of their ability to control early game dragons, and having that dragon control in a game is just so good because the money your team gets from that. They are behind right now in money, about 600 gold. So this will put them back on top, I believe. Yes, it does, and it looks like Dragon will be up around 1450, so they probably are keeping that in mind to watch for. And it looks like Dana just going to clear up his little minions, knowing that they took blue. But all in all, it's been a pretty passive game, just 1 kill on each team. It was a pretty early Dragon, especially with a Malphite jungle, since he can't really do too much damage to it. But with that early cast kill and no interest backed, they were easily able to pick that up. Looks like Cass is going for a Catalyst here. Looks like she's going to try to build Rod of Ages. She doesn't have too much support when she goes in for a fight. Oh, I missed this on top. Sorry about that. But it looks like Noon does pick up the kill on Dyrus with an Ignite and his ult, and stays alive with very little health. That was quite an amazing play for Noon to kill Singe on top. And that will be really big, because I believe Dyrus's... No, Dyrus's teleport is up. Sorry. I'm just getting used to this. This is my 2nd time looking at the spectator menu, so I'm kind of still getting used to it. Sorry about that. Looks like Cass here doing some defensive warding, making sure that she can't get ganked by Malphite too easily, and she does take his race, which I believe Rainman said this not too long ago in a stream, saying that gold on the map is limited. Like, there's a certain amount of gold on the map at any given time, and if you can take away gold from the enemy jungler like Cass just did, it denies him gold, denies him XP, which denies him potentially some ganks later, which people really have to start doing, and it's really a big part of becoming a top player. Looks like GP is here in the bush trying to go for a gank. I don't believe Singe has a ward, and it looks like they're going in. Darius does pop his ghost. GP does pop his ult, and they're going to try to keep him slow with that red buff and with Nunu slow as well. And it looks like they should get a kill here, but unfortunately Darius with his ult and with his ghost does get away, and Malphite, playing smart, was able to back him up if they did engage him on tower. We should see some really good action here soon. We have Son at level 6, and we have Triss at level 7. They could potentially burst down Taric quite easily here. All they need is an ult and Tristana jumping on top of him. And it looks like my Malphite is going for the gank again. Mandatory Cloud does get off that amazing ult, which does stun both of them and gets her that escape. And Sona is caught out of position right here. And it looks like they're actually going to back off instead of getting that kill. I believe that was a little miscommunication on their team, on EG's team. And she's actually one lucky support, because they could have picked up an easy kill right there. And now Tristana's left alone at bottom. Taric doing a great job Nawin doing a great job of denying Tristana some XP and some farm. Trying to keep pressure on him, trying to keep him pushed out of lane. But of course, just does have that ward there to stay protected. And Cassa does have blue again. Looks like GP donated that to her, and she's being aggressive again. She's keeping lanes, but she does have these defensive wards right here and here, which does prevent Malphite from ganking her. She will see when that ever is going to happen. So it's very smart of her to be really aggressive because of the CS advantage she has. She's 22 ahead of Vlad, and Vlad doesn't have his Hex-type Gunblade, or not Gunblade, Revolver yet. So he doesn't really have that dominance that comes with Vladimir once you get that life steal, or spell steal, spell vamp. Looks like there's a little bit of action bottom. Tristana's playing a little aggressive, and GP does get a ward down at the enemy's blue. No one is coming up soon, and they also know that Dragon's coming up in about 2 minutes, so they want to start trying to set up for it a little bit. I believe blue will come up before Dragon, so it kind of gives... Oh, looks like there's some action top. Nope, just Singe blowing his ult, trying to get some damage on Nunu. Of course, Nunu's consume in lane is just so strong. It gets him so much health, and it's pretty much like almost impossible to take down a Nunu once he starts leveling that consume and builds maybe like a little bit of MR or builds AP. And it looks like Singe is going to be taking advantage of his jungler being bottom and getting these extra creeps to try to stay ahead in levels or catch up in levels, and to try to keep himself in the game a little bit. Looks like Malphite will trying to go for a gank here in middle, but unfortunately for him, Cass does have wards there and does know it. And she's going to, or it looks like Vlad's going to try to dive on her, and unfortunately Cass flashes away and stays alive. Maybe if he had his ult up, he could have actually killed her, but unfortunately it's on cooldown for a little longer. Looks like EG is going to try to maybe get a kill on GP. Dan is wanting to protect Dragon right here, as he's seeing. He knows it's coming up really soon, like within a minute. He wants to make sure that he controls this area of the map to get that extra goal that they need to stay in this game. And of course, Vlad is being really aggressive middle, trying to get that tower down. Yeah, I can't even say his name correctly, I'm sorry. And Dan are just sitting in enemy jungle waiting for someone to come by to get that easy kill, warding that red. They know, or Goose does know that they are missing from bottom. They actually do have a ward in this bush, so they know that all three of them are there, so they can be kind of passive, not push out and get caught here. Dan is going to push up here and try to steal those golems, but luckily GP was there to stop him. He had to get out, or he would have died most likely. It looks like still farm is pretty even on both teams. Tristana is beating Graves at the moment. He saw Graves left lane to go ward the enemy jungle, and it looks like they're preparing for Dragon actually right here. They are starting to move up, get ready for it. Oh, Malphite does get his ult onto Mandatory Cloud, and Mandatory Cloud only gets his ult up on one. So it looks like they are going to get a kill here with Darius coming in from the back to get that fling and that kill steal. But luckily GP does pick up Vlad at least with his ult, and it will kind of hold them off for Dragon. Going for a 1-for-1 exchange there. So back to CS, yeah, Cass is still beating Vlad in CS. GP is pretty on par with Malphite in terms of jungling and in terms of ganking. GP's 2-0, but Malphite is 1-0-1. Let's see, Team Goose does know that the enemy team's blue is up, but also Dragon, so they kind of have to be kind of protected here. Singe does have TP up still, so he can feel free to push top as long as he wants, which is really affects Team Goose because Nunu either has to defend top or go for Dragon, and Singe can just teleport down there when they want to engage on him. And it looks like EG is heading over, and Goose is trying to start Dragon here. There are no wards for EG on the Dragon because they have a pink ward down, but they know they're doing it since they're not on the map, and it looks like Malphite is going to try to delay him a little bit, but with Nunu's Consume and GP's Smite, they are able to secure it. It looks like they might try to go for a kill here. Vlad coming in from the side. Sona getting her ult down on 3 of them. Nunu getting his ult down on 3 of them. And it looks like there's some ridiculous damage going around. Singe does ult in and teleport in and ulted in, trying to chase him away. And it looks like Goose does have to kind of sit back and run away here. Mandatory Cloud does get picked off by by Vlad. And it looks like Nunu will get picked off. Oh wow, Nunu barely getting away. It looks like Vlad really wants those kills. They're going to dive them. Vlad does get the kill on Nunu, and Singe does fling Tristana back towards the tower, and they pick up an amazing 1-for-3 trade on this fight. Team Goose did get Dragon, fortunately for them, so it kind of bounces out. But that was an amazing play by EG. Dyrus teleporting in to Dragon to try to hold them off. If he didn't teleport in, that would have been much different of a fight, but luckily he had that. And that's why teleport top is so strong. Singe, of course, he doesn't even need to back. He's just taking the enemy race, trying to keep the jungler down on levels, down on XP, down on money, and he's going to try to help push mid tower down. Malphite is going to be picking up this blue. Vlad doesn't need it, of course, since he doesn't use mana, he uses health. So they picked up mid tower, they picked up bot tower, they lost Dragon, but they got 3 kills, so it was overall, it was very beneficial for EG here. And of course, knowing that blue is GP, is going to be donating that to Cassiopeia. Overall, though, that was quite a turning point in the game for them. As you can see, that EG now does have more net gold than Team Goose. And it's kind of cool here is with the spectator menu is that you can look at current gold and look at gold achieved throughout the game. You can see that Vlad is holding on to 1500, Triss is holding on to 1700. It looks like Triss is actually going to, let's see, what items does she have? She is going to be going for, it looks like an IE early for this team, which isn't too bad. I personally not a big fan of IE in a sense of how tanky their team is, but with Tristana and IE, a Phantom Dancer, and a Last Whisper is really strong, and potentially a Bloodthirster as well. Looks like Triss is going to keep pushing this lane. She does not actually see a Westeros. He could get a ridiculous amount of burst on her right here, and he tries to go for it, but they kind of can't push each other out of lane yet too much because no one really has that big advantage. Graves is 0-0 and 2, and Triss is 1-1 with more CS, so no one's actually going to die in a one-on-one fight right there. Looks like Tarek is keeping wards here. He's trying to protect Baron, of course. They don't want to get, they don't want to allow Team Goose to get a early Baron on him. That would be really bad. So they're just back to farming lanes. They know they have advantage right now, and they kind of want to keep it by keeping their farm up. And it looks like they're going to start applying some pressure here. They have bot lane tower down, and Graves is still just farming away. Singe is getting really tanky now. He's got his Catalyst, he's got his Philistone, he's going to be going for Shurelya's, of course. He does also have a Negatron Cloak, which is really good for top against Nunu. It's going to hold his damage down quite a bit, and with the Philistone, he can just regen all the damage Nunu does to him. Oh, missed that one, sorry about that, but it looks like Malphite did in fact ult on Sona and did knock her up, which gave Tarek time to stun her, and they get an easy kill here on her. That was just no ward coverage on her part, but just little mistakes, but I'm sure she'll fix that now. Dyrus still taking jungle creeps. He really wants to keep the enemy team down on levels and XP, and they do see Tarek coming through here, but unfortunately he's going to just ward and get away. Nunu's still sitting at top. He is going heavy AP, as you can see. He does have an easy large rod. It looks like he's going to be going for Rabadons here. And let's see, Team Goose does see them trying to go for red, and They really don't want to give EG this red, but unfortunately, you know, all 5 of them are here at red, or all 5 of EG are at red, and Goose only has 4, so they have to give that buff up, unfortunately. Nunu, he could have pushed tower a little more, but he decided to back, pick up his Rabadons, and stick with the team to try to help him out. Cass had to go for her Rada Aegis, unfortunately, which it does hold her back a little bit since she's going to be fed blues, but it's kind of needed. Like I was saying earlier, there's a lack of protection for her. They have a Nunu slow, a GP slow, and a Sona ult. That's pretty much about it. Tristana's ult can protect her from about 1 or 2 targets, but that's about it. So she does have to get somewhat tanky. I would expect her to go for a Rylai soon now, just to get that extra health and become extra tanky to sustain and to eat that damage for her team. Singecore is doing what he does best, just pushing top. He's pretty much just pushing, farming all day long. I believe he is still behind Nunu in farm though. I believe when he had to go to Dragon, he lost quite a bit of CS. Actually, no, sorry, Nunu was there. But since he was in middle and defending red there, he lost out on quite a bit of CS. And the synergy of this team is actually not that bad. Like, they have an amazing initiate from Sona and from Cass. They can pop both ults to chain stun them, as well as Nunu and GP to kind of AoE on them as well. So it's kind of like an AoE comp, which is really popular right now. So you see a lot of Sona plays because of her AoE stun. Nunu, which kind of makes this team, his damage when he gets a lot of AP is ridiculous, and they can keep Nunu alive since he doesn't have a lot of Aegis because they are running 2 stuns as well. And knowing that Dragon is coming up soon, EG's trying to prepare for it. Top is pushing for Goose or for EG, so they have to kind of keep an eye on that, as well as bottom. But they can't let EG get this Dragon. They need this money to get back in the game. But EG does have a ward here, so they can watch over it the entire time. But luckily for Goose, they do have Consume, and they have Smite, which is amazing. It's pretty much just as good as a Cho'Gath when trying to secure buffs or secure objectives. And it looks like we're going to get engaged here. Den does ult onto Cassiopeia and Taric. GP does ult, keep Vlad away, and Sona does ult onto Natwin and Graves trying to protect him. Nunu ults in the middle of 3 of them, but does get stunned. Smithy caught up on the side, does get taken out by Graves and Vlad. And Tristana does get flinged back in, and unfortunately it looks like Tristana will die here to Malphite, and they're going to chase down Sona to try to get that extra kill, and Vlad just sitting there with his Woda just taking down Dragon. So that was a really bad exchange. 0 deaths, 5 kills for EG, and they're going to get Dragon. This is just going to put them even farther ahead in money. And Goose really needs to pull something out of here to try to get back in the game. They are down about 5k gold. Well, almost 6k gold now, and they have lost quite a few towers. They've lost 2 towers, and they haven't gotten any towers. But knowing Goose, they're a strong team, not gonna let it get to them. They're gonna try to come back here, and they're gonna try to turn this game around. Anything can happen with Baron, you know, if they can sneak a Baron or maybe steal a Baron, they can definitely come back in this game and turn it around easily. If you guys are noticing, there's a lot of ward coverage. Goose had quite the amount of wards here to protect Dragon. They really wanted to get that, knowing that they're kind of behind right now. But unfortunately, just the power of EG, the tankiness, is kind of preventing them from being able to do too much damage. And of course, Cass will pick up blue. Like I said, Tristana did get that IE, and Graves as well did get that IE. And Westeros is playing really smart here because he got a quick Silver Sash. And because of the amount of stuns the enemy team has, he can get out of one of those and ideally dash away from the next one or something like that, which is going to be really strong for him. Not to mention the MR he gets from that for Nunu, for Cass, and for Sona, even though Sona doesn't do too much damage. It looks like they might get trying to go for a gank here at middle. They're trying to set up for Baron here as they're warding out a little bit. And Singe, of course, still just pushing that top lane down. Singe does have a Fawn, since they are very heavy MR, which is a really smart item. I would expect him to pick up a lot of Aegis as well, or Banshees with that Catalyst. And it looks like Malphite does ult in on Sona and does pick up that kill. That Malphite ult with the Taric, the stuns it provides is so strong, and Sona just did not have flash up to get away there. Just a little bit of overextending. It looks like they will easily get this mid tower, as top is going to have to back to try to protect it, but unfortunately they won't. They're going to have to defend that in hip turret. And Singe, of course, is just going to get free reign on top. He doesn't have teleport up, but he does stop Nunu's back. Does get top tower. Unfortunately, he can't stop Gangplank, doesn't see him there. And Nunu can't actually fight this. He has to get back. He doesn't have any creeps to consume. And as well as three other members of EG are coming to help take this tower. And this game is quickly just falling out of the hands of Goose, unfortunately. With EG having 5 towers now. And a huge 10,000 gold advantage. But let's check out the gold. Let's see, we have Graves with 1,000. Singe is at 1,400, so you could probably almost pick up his Rod of Ages. Looks like Goose needs to start potting up here because they're just so behind, and they need to be able to get this Baron as well. They don't have an Oracle, I believe, or a Pink Ward, so if they're going to try to steal this, it's not going to work out, or try to take this before they come back. And EG, maybe not expecting this, but they are going for a Baron here, and it looks like actually they might get it. They have some ridiculous damage. Darius is going to have to go in and try to stop him if he wants to interfere with them in any sort of way. And wow, Goose does pick up that Baron. It does put him back in the game. Let's see if there's about to be a team fight right here, see if they can do anything. Looks like Nunu ulting from the bush, doing it M5 style, taking a ridiculous amount of damage off all 3 of EG, killing Graves. Malphite does ult in, and Sona does ult in to try to protect a little bit. But of course, they does go down. Atlanta trying to just get away, but unfortunately, it looks like Singe will kill him. Yes, Singe does pick up the kill. Vlad does pick up the kill on Sona, and that is game. They had Baron. They were pretty much full health, and there's no real coming back from that, unfortunately. But still, that was a very good play from Goose. Maybe they shouldn't have engaged necessarily on EG there. They probably should have just backed out and farmed to try to catch up. But this game is easily in the hands of Team EG. And one thing I want to point out is you notice Singe picked up a Spirit Visage, which is a really good item. It's kind of redundant with a Woda, but the extra MR provides him in the CDR is kind of amazing. He also picked up Magic Resist Boots, knowing Nunu and Cass are going to be doing a lot of damage. And it looks like Cass ended up going for a Hex Tech instead of a Rylai's. I don't actually know what she's building, but let's see if she can actually develop her items a little more here. Gangplank did pick up a Warmongs. He went straight tanky. He needs to for this team. Only him and Nunu are only like really tanky ones, and Nunu's still not that strong. It looks like they're gonna be going for a double Woda here. Nunu looks like he's gonna pick up one, as well as Cass, which is really popular recently with running double AP because the amount of healing that double Woda gives you back. And I believe EG did make that quite well known not too long ago when Tigers played Jungle Singe. In terms of CS, both AD carries just neck and neck. 197 on Tristana, 200 on Graves. AP carries Vlad did catch up. He's about 20 ahead or 22 ahead now. Singe is beating Nunu, which is not good, of course. EG is definitely picking up their CS and definitely caught up in that sense of the game. It looks like Dragon might be coming up soon. They're trying to prepare for it, and Sona might get caught off guard here. It looks like she actually might die, but does flash away. It looks like she's just going to try to die to a tower, or maybe potentially escape, but with Malphite here, he's going to slow her. He's got Australia's ulcer. Unstoppable Forster, yeah, she's gone. And now EG can just push down this first inhib, and probably bot lane as well, since Taric and Syndra are pushing that in. And Vlad being a little aggressive here on Cass, trying to get some damage on her. Of course, he's not going to try to overcommit. He's going to protect himself, knowing that he doesn't see where Tristana is or where Gangplank is. Actually, sorry, he sees where Gangplank is. He's top. Gangplank trying to get that tower for some extra gold for his team, but he's going to have to back out. There's no way that these 3 can just defend. And it looks like Taric does get stunned on Nunu, and Nunu just drops to their damage, forcing Tristana to flash out, or she would have got flinged back into him. Cass is trying to do some little bit of poke, as well as Tristana. And it looks like GP will get that top tower, but they will lose their inhibitor and bottom turret, and potentially bottom inhibitor. See, GP is still pushing the lane. He really needs to back to help defend. And EG picks up that extra turret. Looks like Vlad is trying to take on 3 people at once. And he does, his ult does a ridiculous amount of damage and does pick up 2 kills for his team. And Tristana just running away, knowing that she can't escape. She will probably be dived here easily by Malphite. There it is again. Is on Unstoppable Force and does pick up that kill on Tristana. And that's definitely it. That's definitely the nail in the coffin, unfortunately. Goose should not be coming back from this. All in all, though, it was an interesting game to watch. There wasn't too much action early game, but it definitely picked up a lot with all the dragons. And as you can see how important dragon is, both teams contested that to their deaths to try to secure that gold and that XP. And of course, EG just picking up this extra inhib. They are now 12k gold ahead. And new GP just trying to provide a little bit of harass, maybe scare them away, but of course, you know, they're not going to. EG isn't scared of Nunu or GP at the moment. GP hasn't even built his Atlas yet. He's really behind, unfortunately, which he really needs to provide any sort of damage. And Dyrus, of course, picking up the enemy Goose's blue, which kind of sets Cass back because she really needs that blue for the CDR and the mana regen since she spams spells the entire time. And EG, knowing that Dragon's up, they're going to pick it up. And fortunately, there's nothing Goose can do to stop them from getting that. And Singe still just being really aggressive. He did get his Woda, so now even EG has a double Woda, which makes Vlad just a force to be reckoned with. The amount of healing he can do with double Woda, and with just the natural lifesteal and his transfusion, is easily going to make him almost impossible to kill. We see Malphite did pick up a Frozen Heart a little earlier. He's pretty much just stacking armor for some more damage, and the Frozen Heart's actually really nice, even though he has a randomance. He slows GP's auto attacks, and he slows Tristana's auto attacks. And what's really important with that is that Nunu can Blood Boil Tristana, giving her that ridiculous attack speed boost, almost pushing her up to like 2.2 attack speed. I can't actually see what she's at the moment, unfortunately. I thought I could. But that's what makes Nunu's like a really good support, is just the attack speed that you can provide your team, and just the raw damage your ult provides as well. And Cass just has to back out. She knows she can't sit there. They're going to try to... It looks like they want to try to... No, they're just sorry. They're just falling back. Cass is just trying to get out of there. They know they can't defend any outer turrets. They're just trying to protect their inhibitor turrets. And they're trying... They got bot lane pushed out a little bit. Of course, all these two lanes are going to be pushing... Well, all lanes are technically pushing, but mid and bottom are going to be pushing extremely hard here onto Team Goose. And I believe Baron is coming up in about a minute and a half, and it looks like EG does realize this, and they're going to try to bait it. They got a ward down at their blue. Knowing it's coming up soon, they're going to try to protect it, maybe catch Team Goose off guard, because they really need this. They really need to stop this Baron, but they can't unless they can push out their lanes, or they're going to lose their Nexus turrets. And of course, EG is just keeping the lanes pushed in, doing pretty good strat, making sure that the Team Goose has all the minions compacted on them, and they have to defend it. And of course, Westrid's just going to chip this tower down while Dyrus is actually tanking it, not taking really any damage from it. And it looks like, yeah, they notice Baron's up. They're going to try to protect it. It looks like they're actually going to bait it right here. They're pinging to bait it. Or actually, okay, well, they're pinging to bait it, but it looks like they're going to try to go in. Dyrus is just holding him off, since he knows that they can pretty much not kill him. He can get away with his ult, and he can get away with his Ghost as well, and his Tremelius. Yeah, Triss trying to go for him, and EG is going to pick up this Baron uncontested. Singe is just trying to hold him off, force him to stay in base, and Goose is going to have to defend against, wow, a 14k gold lead, and I believe 2 dragon lead, or 1 dragon lead from EG. They are going to have to defend this turret. If they can't, then the game's completely over. There's no reason for them to engage after the turret's already gone. And Singe does pop his Ghost, does pop his ult, and runs in, flings back Tristana, or Nunu, but Nunu gets out. Malphite does pop, and Salvo Force onto him. Vlad ults as well onto 3 of them. And Cass tries to save her team by ulting, but unfortunately it's too late. And Singe does get that fling out on GP. Vlad even tanking the Nexus turret. They do pick up the ace and the victory for EG. Overall, Tyra's doing some victory laps around the Nexus turret. Overall, pretty good game. And there is a surrender vote. Overall, good game. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast, and please leave me comments on what you guys thought.
Victory!